Hey, welcome to the DaddyT Soundcheck YouTube channel. Our first interview or conversation, if you will, is with Mr. Neal Sharpe, one of the top entertainers in the industry, not only in Texas, I would say United States wide, probably even going worldwide. Anyway, the conversation is kind of like I promised, no edits or very few edits, if any at all. It's going to be, it was really interesting sitting down and interviewing Neal Sharpe, somebody that I have a lot of respect for in this industry, have a lot of respect for just period. I've had the opportunity to travel with Neal over the years with our three-piece. I got to hear some of his stories and wasn't ready, I think, as you'll see, as to what I walked into. When I walked into his studio, I was kind of overwhelmed by everything in there. It was almost like a museum. All the way to the point of actually talking with Neal and hearing stories that I had never heard before, how he began, the singing at the doo-wop stuff as a young man or young child, I guess you would even say. Anyway, sit back. This is going to be probably 2 or 3 installments because the conversations were that lengthy and that good. Also hope to start some other interviews with some other performers, bouncers, people that have kind of helped to make the industry what it is, some of the behind-the-scenes people, as well as the people that we see out front. So sit back, grab you some popcorn, some Kool-Aid maybe, and listen to the conversation here with Mr. Neal Sharpe. Thank you. All right, sitting here with Neal Sharpe. This is my first series, DaddyT Soundcheck. This is a man right here that he knows it. Man, somebody I really respect in this business. I've had the honor of playing with him through the Funk Factory. We definitely hammer each other pretty hard, and to the point I'm sure, or I don't know if Neal has, but I've actually had people ask me, go, dude, how do y'all not kill each other after the show because y'all talk so much crap? And I think it's proof that we are, it's proof, I guess, that it's part of the show. Yeah. I know there's never been anything Neal said that that I've left that hacked me off or anything, and hopefully it's kind of been the same way. Yeah. But we've through some of our traveling and stuff, we've kind of got to room together, and I've got to hear some of Neal's stories from the olden days, so to speak. So, like I said, I just want to kind of bring this out there because there's not too many of the guys like Neal around anymore, that true showmen, true entertainers. It's one thing to be a musician and get up there and play a guitar, but it's another thing to be an entertainer. And when you entertain people, it's your instrument, I guess is the way to put it. I've never, being a drummer and all that stuff, going all the way back to, I think mine started kind of 1980, and I know Neal was probably well established before then. But I know for me, I've never claimed to be a musician. I enjoy calling myself an entertainer and do my best to get out there and entertain. And the cool thing is, hanging out with this guy and doing gigs, I can say after all these years of doing it, I've probably learned more watching this guy perform on stage and watching his YouTube videos and all that. So with all that being said, this is just it's kind of like I've said in some of the promo stuff. It's just a conversation. There's nothing going to be professional about, or I guess not professional, commercial about this. What you see is what you get kind of deal. We'll go in and do some edits, needless to say, but for the most part, we're just going to kick back and talk is all it's about. With that being said, this is my buddy, my music brother for sure, Mr. Neal Sharpe.
How you doing?
So I guess I actually came in here and had some questions. Walked in this room and into Neal's studio, and got overwhelmed. I mean, it's like a museum in here. And like I say, I had my little questions here in kind of the certain order, and walking in, it's like totally changed. So if I get off track, like I say, this will probably be like a mini series. Is what it's going to turn into. So anyway, man, I know we were talking a while ago, like how you got to this area basically through the military, through Killeen and all that stuff.
Yeah.
For it. When would you say, I guess, or kind of walk me through when you first started? I mean, kind of about what year you, not necessarily played professionally, but your first kind of gig you got out there in front of some people or an audience or something.
Oh man, I was in high school, and I guess it was around 1965, and we had went an audition. This group I was in called the Constellations in Chicago. And we went and auditioned for Wonderful Records in Chicago. There was an R&B label. And the guy liked us. And that night we did, I don't know what you call it, a showcase or a talent show at the Regal Theater in Chicago, where all the big concerts used to come. And the guy came to see us, and then I guess he was going to try to sign us. And the people at the door gave him such a hassle that it didn't happen. And I'm going, ooh, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So we talked to the guy later, and he said, man, I was going to come down and listen to you guys. And didn't you guys tell the lady I would be there? We said, yeah, we told her. He said, well, she hassled me, man. And I said, this just ain't worth it. And I said, well, okay. But that was the first time. That was like in 1965. Regal Theater in Chicago.
Now, is the Regal Theater, I guess, is it still there? Or is
No, it's gone, man. But that's what, going to the Regal Theater with my dad was my first exposure to R&B and some blues and some jazz music, because they had everybody there, man. I mean, Billy Eckstine, I don't know if you guys know about Billy Eckstine, but Billy Eckstine used to come, and I mean, everybody, and all the vocal groups. That's what I liked. They'd have the Spaniels and the Dales and everybody, man. And I'd sit there and listen to them guys sing and watch their moves and their outfits and stuff. And I say, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
You saying it and you do it, and it's two different things.
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly.
Two different things. Because I went to Parker High School, and they used to have talent shows all the time, and one of the girls on the talent show was in my class. She sang background for Smokey Robinson for like 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And another guy who used to sit behind me in the homeroom named Clifford Curry, he's still on the road with the Notations.
I've heard that name before.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a lot of talent at that school, man. It just,
Now, was there a lot of talent in that area?
Oh, yeah.
But,
I mean, I used to stand on the street corner in Chicago, and people, they hear about that, singing under a street lamp. And we used to do that, man. My old man got home from work like at 12 at night, and I'd be out there with them till about 11:15, and I was the youngest one.
Yeah.
I was like 13, and these guys were 16, 17, 18 years old, doo-wopping.
Yeah.
I mean, man, it don't get no better than that.
Oh, so now, like, and like I said, you see it in the movies, of course, nowadays, you don't, I guess, I don't know up there, but, definitely in Texas that don't happen.
No.
But now, I mean...
it might happen in the cities, but, the small towns, probably not. But, I don't know if it still happens in Houston, but the friend of mine named Al, he's got a group, and they do a lot of shows and stuff. So.
Yeah. Now, when y'all are doing it on the street corners, like I said, when you were that young, would y'all draw a pretty decent little crowd of folks?
People would be walking by, and they'd just stop and clap, and man, you guys need to record, blah 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 blah. And some of them would give us a few bucks.
Yeah.
It was just, and like I said, I was the youngest one, man, and I'd come out the house even when I wasn't supposed to come out the house, because my old man would be at work.
Yeah.
So I go down on the corner. I knew where they was gonna be.
Right.
And they be standing there doo-wopping, and I come down there and say, man, come on and sing. And they used to sing this song by the Spaniels called "Please Don't Tease Me." And then we'd do stuff like "Daddy's Home." And,
oh, there you go.
The original "Daddy's Home."
Yeah.
We'd do stuff like that, and man, I was in hog heaven, man. I was like 13, 14 years old, and these guys wanted me to sing with them. So, and
Okay, here's a question for you then. Um, who would you say was your first eye opener, first one that attracted you to music? Can you boil it down to one, or
uh,
that you just saw, and it was like, dude, I
Pookie Hudson and the Spaniels. That's who it
Pookie
was.
Hudson.
And
Okay.
he's dead now, but Pookie Hudson and the Spaniels. And they're famous for "Good Night, Sweetheart." Well, it's time to
Right,
go.
yeah.
They did the original, but yeah, they. And there was another group called the El Dorados, and like I lived on 56th Street, and they lived on 55th Street. So they had this little red Mercury station wagon, and we would run down there and listen to them to rehearse.
Yeah.
And I'm going, and I was younger than that then. I was like 9.
Yeah.
But I'm going, man, this
So
is
so
cool.
yeah, your eyes were open and you knew darn well this is
Man.
what I'm doing.
My eyes was big as cantaloupes, man.
Ah,
And I'm
sweet.
going,
I love it.
all I need is the opportunity. I
Yeah.
hope, but I tell you, man, it ain't easy, man, because I got disappointed so many times, and I thought that I was doing what I could do, but I found out later it ain't what you do, it's who you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
know?
who knows you?
Yeah, and somebody might owe somebody a favor, and this guy's in a group. Well, I owe this guy a favor, and I'm dating his girlfriend, I'm dating his sister, and I need to, so
Yeah.
it's tough. Man.
There's a little politics in it, in other words.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's and then you see some of the guys out there singing, and you're going, damn, I can out sing this dude, but if you don't get the shot, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You got to get the shot. You don't get the shot, you just get frustrated. And times I've quit. I said I quit, but
It's kind of that deal though. You never really quit, do
I
you?
never really quit. I take a siesta.
There you go. There you go.
I'm going. Man, I don't want to give this up. So
Yeah.
and I just keep plugging along, man. And a lot of times I wouldn't even get on talent shows, but I'd be at home, and I'd listen to music, man, and I'd buy records, and man, I got records now you wouldn't believe, in a storage building. I got records in a storage building in Chicago.
Oh, for real?
I didn't have room to bring them.
Yeah.
I just got a lot of stuff, man, and
I say, heck, I can only imagine what you have walking in. Like I said, dude, I walked in here. I told you I was overwhelmed. I didn't. Dude, you got some posters. You were showing me 8x10 or pictures of people you've worked with and all that. But okay, here's what was your first professional gig that you actually got money, that you went home and you were showing off to dad that, hey, look, I got paid for this, or, showing off to your buddies or whatever that weren't in the business.
Ooh, man.
Can you remember that?
My first professional gig where somebody actually gave me some money.
Yeah, where it wasn't just tip money, it wasn't, you were actually paid to perform.
Would you believe that didn't happen till I was grown?
Is that right?
In the Army, we had this band at Fort Hood, and we played at the NCO Club, and we got paid.
Wow.
We got paid, and and it was funny because back then in late '60s, early '70s, nobody had no money, man. But
Yeah.
we were playing at Fort Hood. We played at the NCO Club, and we had a 5-piece band. We got $60 a piece.
Man, dude.
We
So
had $60 a piece.
So I know you've played out there since then, say in the last few years or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Did those memories kind of come back as far as?
Yeah, because and I was stationed there, so to go back there and play, like, when I was with Archie Bell, we went to Bosnia to entertain the first calf, and we stayed over there 10 days, and then we played their Welcome Home at Fort Hood, and that's when it kind of kicked in. I said, yeah, first time I played him, made $60.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And
Now it's a whole different world.
whole different world.
So just I know this will take us off track a little bit, but just so people that are watching this that don't really know Neal Sharpe, that are kind of learning for the first time, Just throw a few names out there, some people you've worked with over the years,
Oh,
whether it's
man.
been from then to recent.
Smokey Robinson, Al Green, Little Anthony and the Imperials. A guy named John Gary, he was a pop singer. Phyllis Diller.
Oh, that's yeah.
Man. Who else? Aretha Franklin. War. Whispers. The Temptations. The Temptation Review. Oh man.
Just a whole history of folks.
You know,
I mean,
so many people, man, and
because I know we've talked about like who was at the Morris Day at the time.
oh yeah, Morris Day in the Time.
I know we're just talking about like Howard Hewitt. Is that somebody?
Yeah, Howard Hewitt.
So
oh,
basically, most of the people in that
yeah, I've been on shows with.
yeah.
Been on the same show with him, like, you know, Willie, you know, with Little Joe, and just, man.
Yeah.
After a while, you just, you know, you just,
Forget them.
I mean, you know, you're happy to be there.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
You're happy to be there, you know, and but there's just so many people, man, and you know, and I respect all of them.
Yeah.
You know, I never said, you know, blah blah blah.
Right,
I
right.
respected all of them.
Right.
Some of the nicest people, man. Smokey Robinson, Little Anthony, Otis Williams of the Temptations. Man, a couple of the women in Marvelettes. With Dennis Yost, Classic Four.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Like I say, just it's
so many people that you just and I try to get pictures of all of them. I try to for myself.
right.
You know, some of them, yeah, come on, I'll take a picture with you. And then some of them, you know, and I don't want to be bothered. You understand.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But goes with the territory, man. But
Yeah.
it's some nice people out there, man.
Okay. Now you touched on you touched of course on the local guy, Little Joe.
Yeah.
And I know just us talking about him, you know, when we've been on little road trips and all that stuff, I know, you know, you regard him, respect him, I guess, you know, real highly, and I know you do a lot of shows with him. Where did that connection come? That's hard to think of, man. Little, you know, here's this Tejano star, and here's this R&B star. Where, you know, other than the both y'all be in Temple or this area,
Yeah.
what was that first show like, or do you?
Well,
you know?
I met Joe. He had a studio on 7th Street. And I used to go by there all the time. I didn't go in, but I just
Yeah,
go by
Drew,
there all
yeah,
the time.
yeah, exactly.
There's a big old bus outside, and I'm going, shit. And I had this song I wanted to record. So I stopped in there one day, and I was talking to Gloria, who was his office manager at the time, I guess. And she told me, you know, what to do and how much it would cost. And I said, well, I'm gonna need some musicians. And so their band had been rehearsing. So I waited till they got through, and I was telling them, you know, what I was trying to do. And they all agreed, you know, like Joe Guzman, who plays a hell of a accordion player, a hell of a keyboard player. He's playing with Paul Simon right now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he's playing with Paul Simon. And so
Jeez.
I used him on the first one, and just, you know, just different people, man. And,
Yeah.
But I used Joe's band in the studio for like 2 songs of my own, and then there was this girl out of Killeen, she wanted to record. So she paid me, because I produced it, and I paid them, and we did 2 cuts of hers. Which was funny, because back then they had those big reels of tape, you know.
Right, right.
And so after the recording session was over, she said, well, I want my tape. And I looked at her, I said, you want your tape? She says, yeah. I said, for what? She said, because it's mine, I want it. I said, you can't play it on nothing.
Right,
You don't have a recorder. You
Yeah,
can't
reel
play
to
this
reel
tape.
or-
yeah.
yeah.
You can't play this. You know, just leave it here at the studio. And then when you need copies or whatever, just come up here and they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
They'll burn you a copy.
Yeah.
You know, they'll burn it for you. And back then they burn it to maybe a cassette or something, but you would have a copy that you
Right.
could play. No, I want to take it with me. So, I mean, she paid for it, so
Yeah,
I gave it to her.
Yeah.
She took it home. About 4 days later, she called me up. You got another copy of that tape? I said, no, why? Well, my house caught on fire and the tape burned up.
No
And I
way.
said, I told you to leave it up here.
Yeah.
But, she wanted it. She wanted to show her friends.
Right,
You know,
right.
They couldn't listen
I was
to
gonna
it.
say, yeah, what good did other than just show them? Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess, I think she got one cassette copy of it. Because I got a cassette copy of it around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Pretty good song. She wrote them.
Yeah.
But she let her tape get burned up. And I'm going, that's your master.
Yeah. Can't do nothing now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your master. You can come in here and do it again, but you got to pay for it.
Right.
And I said, well, but it was strange the way it happened because I guess she thought somebody was gonna steal her music or something.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So she wanted to take it home with her.
Yeah, I remember playing with a group one time. He's a young guy that wrote a song. I don't even remember what the name of the song was, and he was trying to get everybody to sign a paper. Like I say, this was a garage band that luckily made $100 at a gig, and $20 a man, and he was worried about somebody was going to steal his song and do this. So he was wanting everybody to sign a piece of paper stating that nobody would go back and recopy it or try to do anything with it. Or let's look at that, man. You already got fans calling in.
No, that's my.
Oh. So what was the first Little Joe gig, or because like I said, I know you travel with him. I know y'all you can go on YouTube, and like I told you, there's a couple of videos that I love y'all two guys. I guess how long or when was that initial date or year that you walked in there with?
Well, after I went in there and recorded that first song. And it's funny, I got that song from Barry Gordy's nephew out in California. Yeah, Rodney Gordy.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, they was running Jobette Music, and I don't even know how I got the hookup, but I got the hookup. I saw, where they would send you stuff to do. They would send you albums.
Right.
Stuff that had been recorded, some of it hadn't been recorded, and they would send it to you, and you pick out a song you wanted, and they'd send you the sheet music, but then you had to go pay. You had to pay a royalty and use it. So that was one of the songs I did from Barry Gordy and Rodney Gordy. And Little Joe had a gig at the not the Expo Center, this thing out here on the highway, man, before they built the Expo Center.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't even remember the name.
Exactly.
It's still out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they're still active.
So,
they still do some stuff out of
Yeah,
it.
so Little Joe and them had a gig out there with Susie Nelson, Willie Nelson's daughter.
Okay.
And Joe said, you want to come do your song? And I said, you sure? He said, yeah. Man, I was so nervous, man.
Yeah.
I went out there and did it. It was a song called, man, Heaven Sent. That was the name of the song. Yeah,
Okay.
Heaven Sent. And I went out there and did it, and the people liked it and stuff. But that was the first time I'd done a gig with Joe, and he liked it, and he said, "Man, you need to hang around."
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd get off work and I'd go up there and hang out with him, or something, and and we've been friends, man, for over 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been friends for over 30 years, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've worked with him as his road manager. I worked with his brother, Rocky, as his road manager. Plus, I was a member of the band, of Rocky's band, and I've been to California with him, and Arizona, and just everywhere, man.
Yeah.
And we just get along, man. We just and he's got a hell of a band.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, he does. He definitely does there.
So.
Man, like I say, I came up with some questions here, and well, I tell you what, we'll kind of break into the questions here for a second. Especially you to me, in my opinion, you kind of grew up or whatever, however you want to put it, in the perfect time, because you seen how like the Motown sound evolved into what's kind of going on now.
Yeah.
It was definitely and I may be wrong, because there's names you've mentioned that I have no clue who they were, but I know they had to be instrumental in paving the road. But back, say, a few generations back, or even there was Smokey Robinson, there was, of course, Barry Gordy, there was all these guys that paved the way or were putting stuff out there that nobody else, was putting out there.
Right.
Who do you see now that's going to kind of carry that torch the next few years? Because, you got like Bruno Mars is pretty good entertainer. He's still kind of got that showman quality that's missing nowadays. But I mean, who are some of the guys or ladies that or groups that you think are kind of helping to pave that next new sound?
Ooh, man.
Or here's another question: who would you say? I know this is real big on the countryside. You got all the modern guys out there, but you still have a couple that play that old country twang that keep that that classic sound. I guess on the flip side of my question is, who do you think might be doing that? Still trying to pull that Motown sound or that Philly sound or that.
Oh man, well Bruno Mars is he's got the R&B torch.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And a lot of these other guys, they between R&B and hip hop, I guess. Kenny Lattimore.
Okay.
He's smooth. Kim, smooth, and they R&B singers.
Yeah.
I mean, they just women love them.
Right.
Know? And as far as country, I like Tim McGraw, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like him, and some of the songs he put out, like "Live Like You Were Dying."
Oh yeah.
And I'm going, ooh man, what a statement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what a statement. But
exactly.
it makes you think, man. You know, if you got something wrong with you, man, you better live like you're getting ready to die.
That's right. Like
you think about it, you say, damn man, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And it's a negative thing, but it's a positive thing at the same time. Okay, you're getting ready to, go sing with the angels, but before you go, you want to do your thing.
Right, right. Make your stamp, make your mark.
Yeah, you want to leave something to people. So I like that, and I kind of like Randy Travis. I mean, he hadn't done nothing in a while, as far as I know.
Right, yeah.
But I like his voice.
Yeah.
And before he died, I like Jerry Reed.
Yeah.
When he was in with Burt Reynolds and all those movies and stuff. He was crazy, but he could sing, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, we just lost Mel Tillis.
Yeah.
He was, I know, in my opinion, him and Ray Price, which of course he's passed. That's two guys that I always thought were, especially Ray Price. That
I saw him in person a bunch of times.
Yeah.
With Little Joe at Willie's Farm Aids and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Vince Gill, I like Vince Gill. But I don't know, as far as the R&B goes, with the funk, Bruno Mars, man.
Yeah. So he seems to kind of hit that whole spectrum from the funk to some of the smooth stuff.
Yeah, he's got the thing in between.
Yeah.
He's taking up the slack, like he's the modern day Rick James.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I hadn't thought of it that way.
So yeah, it was a really cool story. Had a great time having a conversation with Neal. We're still gonna do probably two more to kind of round out the story. It's really neat just talking to him. We bounced around a little bit, but it was really cool listening to those first stories of how he got started, some of the early band names, some of who he's thinking is going to carry that torch, or who's showing that they're carrying that torch. Anyway, kind of keep an eye, ear, and all that good stuff out. We'll be doing some more DaddyT sound checks. We hope you would recommend some people you'd like to see us interview. Needless to say, we'd love to interview somebody like Bruno Mars or somebody of that nature. Don't see that happening anytime in the near future. But hey, there's plenty of those other local cats, local stories, like Mr. Sharpe. Who'd ever known that guy was sitting right here in Central Texas? Anyway, keep watching, keep an eye out, and like I say, let us know who you want to see up on the conversation with DaddyT Soundcheck. Talk to you later.